Growing up from the super-presidential form of government to a presidential republic with a strong parliament, Kazakh president presented a new set of political reforms in his address to the people of Kazakhstan. Creation of an open information space sought after and strong media. Kazakhstan will revise the law on mass media. All tourist destinations in one phone. Now it's possible to choose the most profitable tours and routes without leaving your home using a mobile application. Stay tuned for more details. The time for change has come. The address of Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev is cited in social media of residents and causes active discussion among the public. Now it has become clear what a new Kazakhstan will be like. The changes affected almost the entire political system of the country. More than 30 articles of the Constitution will be amended. The head of state stressed that over 20 new laws must be adopted by the end of the year. However, it is not enough just to transform the state apparatus to achieve the goal. Each of us must change, the president emphasized.
В новом Казахстане мы должны неизменно следовать принципу разные взгляды, но единые.
We must follow the main principle in the new Kazakhstan: different views but one nation. A high culture of dialogue and compromise will become one of the important factors in strengthening civil solidarity in our country. We will resolutely oppose ignorance and archaism, radicalism and dependency, the cult of consumption and corruption. We must preserve our main asset, independence, strengthen the foundations of national identity, focus on the transformation of the country. This is our sacred duty to future generations.
Трансформации страны. Это наш священный долг перед будущими поколениями.
Speaking of the scale of the task set today, one important factor can be singled out. The era of the super-presidential system of government will become a thing of the past and will be replaced with a presidential state with a strong parliament. The head of state proposes to legislate the obligation of the president to terminate membership in the party for the period of his term. This rule will increase political competition, which means that all parties will receive equal conditions for development. The presidential quota in the Senate will also be reduced.
Сегодня у нас буквально все замыкается на президенте. И это, я считаю, неправильно.
Literally everything focuses on the president today. I think this is wrong. We need to gradually move away from this practice. The long-term interests of the state are more important to me than any additional levers of power and situational influence. The rejection of excessive presidential powers will be an important factor that will ensure the irreversibility of political modernization in the country. The proposed initiatives will fundamentally change the rules of the game and form a solid foundation for the further democratization of our society. Kazakhstan needs big bank reforms, otherwise it will stagnate, the president believes. He also noted the fact that after the January events, many expected that the authorities would begin to tighten the screws and slow down the pace of modernization. However, according to the head of state, everybody will stay the course. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev assures that systemic transformations will accelerate development in all spheres of life. 3 new regions will appear in Kazakhstan. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev stated this in his address. The head of state proposed to create the Abay region. The city of Semey will become its center, and the center of the Ulutau region will be Zhezkazgan. Almaty region will be divided into 2, Zhete-Su and Almaty. The center of Zhete-Su will be the city of Taldykorgan and of Almaty Kapshagay.
Biz уланғайыр жеріміздің байырғы атауларын
We will continue to strengthen our national identity, returning the original geographical names and reviving the memory of our great figures. For example, the city of Kapshagay is closely connected with an outstanding personality in the history of our people, Don Muhammad Kunaev. And if the public proposes to name the city after him, I will support such a proposition. I say all this based on the proposals and opinions of citizens. If local residents support these initiatives, then they should be put into practice in the near future. I instruct the government to carefully study the issues of the administrative territorial structure and propose ways to implement these initiatives. And this is not an easy task. You need to approach it having thought through all the details.
байыппен жасауымыз керек.
The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development developed a new strategy for Kazakhstan for the next 5 years. The document includes cooperation in improving the competitiveness of private entrepreneurship, support for green policies and carbon neutrality. This became known during the meeting between Prime Minister Alihan Smailov and EBRD Vice President Alan Pio. The parties discussed joint projects in a number of areas. Over the years of partnership with the support of an international financial organization, Kazakhstan has implemented 300 projects worth over $10 billion. Over $6 billion of investments was attracted to Kazakhstan through the platform of the Astana International Financial Center, its head Kairat Kelimbetov announced. More than 1,200 companies from 63 countries are currently registered in the financial hub. 18 Kazakh and 11 international brokers are trading members of the AIFC exchange. The number of companies licensed by the Astana Financial Services Authority doubled in 2021 and reached 46. Besides, for the first time, the Astana International Financial Center issued a license to the Islamic Bank and the Islamic Finance Company. Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev pledged to pay special attention to the creation of open information space and strong media. He announced the need to revise the law on mass media. This should be done taking into account the interests of the country, the demands of society, and the trends in the development of the media sphere. The head of state is confident that further democratic transformations are impossible without independent and responsible mass media.
Представляя собой эффективный канал коммуникации между властью и народом, средства массовой информации могут...
Representing a channel of communication between the authorities and the people, the media can and should raise pressing issues with great civic responsibility. They cannot work on orders from abroad, contributing to the polarization of our society, and for shadow fees, participating in the hidden struggle of political clans. Journalists should care about their country and its citizens. The media are called the fourth power for a reason. That's why you should use your influence on the minds and hearts of people with all caution.
Именно поэтому вам следует распоряжаться своим влиянием на умы и сердца людей со всей осторожностью.
The number of coronavirus cases in Kazakhstan rose. 85 people were infected in the country in the last 24 hours, wherein the highest single-day count was registered in the city of Almaty. 32 patients caught the infection there, 12 in Karaganda region, 10 in the capital. The number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Kazakhstan has exceeded 1,304,000 over the pandemic. According to the latest data of the Kazakh Health Ministry, the number of people fully vaccinated with two components in Kazakhstan has surpassed 9,086,000 to date. More than 3,029,000 people received a booster dose. Starting from March 18, the United Kingdom is lifting the remaining coronavirus restrictions on the entry of tourists. Now, unvaccinated foreign citizens do not need to provide a PCR test and carry a vaccination passport. The mask rule was also cancelled. Moreover, the rates of immunization of the population in the country remains high. According to official statistics, approximately 52 million British citizens received the first dose of a vaccine, 49 million the second, and 38 million people received a booster shot. Tens of thousands of free rapid antigen tests for coronavirus will be distributed to residents of the Western Australia, Premier Mark McGowan announced. According to him, this is done to compensate for the increased costs of citizens. Earlier, the government gave 5 free COVID-19 tests to households. Now families will receive 10 more.
A sewing workshop located in the capital has been operating for more than 2 years. Seamstresses here make clothing, medical gowns, masks, dowry for brides, bed sets painted with national patterns, and other unique items. All shop personnel are mothers with many children, just like the workshop's owner, Alida Utarbaeva. The Altın Alqa pendant holder brings up 9 kids with her husband. Despite this, the woman spends most of the time here, growing her business and helping other women to master sewing skills. The businesswoman managed to launch a small enterprise after training under the Business Басты program.
Сейчас у меня работы много. Сейчас в данный момент супруг сидит с ребенком, пока вот старшие дети со школы приедут. Он идет после обеда.
I've got a lot of work. At the moment, my husband stays at home watching our baby until the older children arrive from school. He goes to work in the afternoon. That's how we work. I completed the training, won a grant of 200 MCI, which is 612,000 tenge, and bought sewing machines. And then I thought, let's do this, and submitted for 5 million grant, free of charge. I won it, bought a sewing frame, machines, a cotton carding machine.
Купила машинки. Купила еще, я сэкономила, купила ваточесальный станок.
Alida Utarbaeva plans to scale up her production soon, because this way she will be able to help other mothers with large families to master new skills and learn how to build their business.
Мы для своих детей должны создавать все сами. И уют, и обеспечивать, пока наши дети не станут на ноги. Я сама с многодетной семьи.
We must do everything for our children, provide them with comfort, everything they need until they get on their feet. I myself am from a large family. There are 7 of us. When I was 1 year old, my father died. Despite this, my mother went to work. Now she is 80 years old. She worked as an accountant all her life and did not seek anything from the state. Women must be universal. God created us for this. There is no such thing that someone owes someone else. I do not like this.
Бог создал для этого. Такого нету, что кто-то кому-то обязан, я сама такое вот не люблю.
Marina Yelzhasova is one of the workshop's employees. She said that she began sewing recently, and now a simple hobby has become a favorite and profitable business.
Самый младший ребенок родился, после 1 года я поняла, что...
1 year after my youngest child was born, I realized that I could no longer work in my profession as a civil engineer. From that moment, I got involved in sewing, bought a small machine, and started doing the sewing business. If a woman is engaged in her business, if she finds herself in something, then she will not need anything from the state.
Если находит себя в чем-то, тогда от государства ни о чем не будет нуждаться.
Alida Utarbaeva admits that special training in entrepreneurial activity, hard work, and the desire to succeed by herself have become guide to a happy life for her. Now the workshop, where skillful hands of mothers with many children create the most beautiful items, receives orders not only from different parts of the capital, but also from the neighboring cities.
Safe flashpacking. Kazakh residents and foreign nationals can now make their tour route and go to any place on their own, even the remote destination of the country. They will be able to choose the complex of tourist services necessary for traveling without leaving their homes using the special mobile app Tourism Kaz. The project was implemented under the leadership of the head of the Department of Recreation, Geography and Tourism at the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University Aliya Akhtambayeva.
У нас является основной идеей это привлечение иностранных туристов в Республику Казахстан для развития и масштабирования.
Our main idea is to attract tourists from overseas to Kazakhstan for the development, scaling up and popularization of our domestic tourism. We would also like our providers of tourism services to develop and improve accommodation, catering places, as well as our guest houses, which are located on rural areas. We would like our guests who come to our country to go to our hinterlands so that inbound tourism would be put on a larger scale.
Посещали наши глубинки. И для того, чтобы въездной туризм у нас был уже поставлен на более широкомасштабный план.
The developers managed to implement the idea and turn it into a real and quite in-demand online service with the support of the Science Fund.
На сегодняшний день фондом выделено 245 миллионов тенге
Today, the Science Fund and the Kazakh Ministry of Education and Science allocate 245 million tenge. The state today actively supports and sponsors these projects, the development of all sectors of the economy, in particular this industry of tourism. This project is nearing completion. There was a reorientation of the tourism market to domestic tourism, and this product somehow contributes to the development of domestic tourism.
Продукт как раз-таки способствует развитию внутреннего туризма.
According to the developers, the application is easy to use. After entering the data in the search engine of the service, all the best offers of travel services for a comfortable and profitable trip around Kazakhstan are displayed on the screen within a few seconds. Here you can also read reviews, see the location, make a reservation, and pay at the best prices without intermediaries. The service will be available soon.